Joseph and Zainab crouched behind the sofa, hearts pounding in their chests. They were sure their parents could hear them. "Do you think they're still here?" Zainab whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Joseph peeked cautiously out towards the hallway. "No," he muttered. "They've gone to the store by now. Let's just do it quickly." Zainab felt her stomach twist, but she nodded. They scrambled back to his room, closing the door as quietly as possible. Joseph pulled his phone from under his pillow, his hands shaking slightly. The app on the screen glowed, almost like it was daring them to open it again. "Are you sure about this?" Zainab asked, glancing nervously at the door. Joseph hesitated, then said, "They won't know." It wasn't the first time they had tried copying something they saw on the app, but this video felt different. Faces twisted in strange ways. Two people doing things that didn't make sense. But there was something about it they couldn't ignore. They wanted to try one of the challenges. Joseph tapped the screen, and a distorted voice started playing. Strange sounds filled the room. Zainab's heart beat faster. "Hurry, Zainab! Take off your pants and bend down just like in the video." Zainab's breath caught in her throat. But before she could say anything, they heard the door creak open. It all began 6 months ago, when Joseph's parent, realizing their son's inquisitiveness for knowledge, decided to gift him a smartphone to bridge the gap between him and the endless world of knowledge on the digital space. Joseph had always been an eager learner, curious about the world around him. The phone was a gateway to endless opportunities. Joseph's face lit up with excitement as he opened the gift, his hands trembling with anticipation. This phone would open doors to a world of knowledge, educational apps, videos, and stories that would enrich his mind. His parents had even set up the phone with special apps designed to help him excel in his studies and explore various subjects. They believed it would give him a head start, especially in subjects he found most intriguing. Joseph shared the gift with his best friend, Zainab. The two of them would gather around, laughing and enjoying animated toy videos on the phone. The colorful characters and lively stories sparked their imaginations, and they would spend hours watching the amusing content. Zainab would often tease Joseph, laughing as they bonded over the silliness of the animations. It was a time filled with innocence, curiosity, and joy. But things took an unexpected turn. As they browsed through the App Store, they stumbled upon something they hadn't intended to find. It started with a simple curiosity, a new app that promised exciting new content. They clicked on it, both eager to see what was hidden behind the flashy advertisements. What they didn't know was that this seemingly harmless app led them down a dangerous path. At first, it was just a few strange videos, content meant for an older audience. Joseph felt a strange mix of confusion and curiosity. He didn't fully understand what he was seeing, but something inside him told him that this was not something they should be watching. But things took an unexpected turn one afternoon. As they browsed through the App Store, they stumbled upon something they hadn't intended to find. It started with a simple curiosity, a new app that promised exciting new content. They clicked on it, both eager to see what was hidden behind the flashy advertisements. What they didn't know was that this seemingly harmless app led them down a dangerous path. The app opened up to a colorful interface, similar to the fun ones they'd seen before. There were categories: cartoons, games, and educational videos. Joseph scrolled through, laughing at some of the titles. They clicked on a few animated clips, which made them giggle and joke about how funny the characters were. But then a pop-up ad appeared. Curious, they tapped on it, thinking it would take them to more animations. Instead, the screen flashed, and they were suddenly in a completely different section of the app, one that seemed much darker, with images and words that felt unfamiliar. The videos were different too, images and strange sounds. They hesitated, but their curiosity got the better of them. After all, it was just an app. They were just exploring, weren't they? Joseph, unsure of what they were really seeing, wanted to see more to uncover what the app had hidden beneath it. "This doesn't look right," Zainab said, her voice shaking. But Joseph, who had already clicked on another video, urged her to stay, laughing nervously. "It's just some weird stuff. Don't be a scaredy cat," he said, though even his words felt forced. But Zainab couldn't shake the uncomfortable feeling gnawing at her. The images on the screen were strange and unsettling. The videos were showing things she had only heard about in whispered conversations between adults. Her mind raced, and for a moment, she wondered if this was how people got into trouble, if this was the path to things she wasn't supposed to know. "And we should stop," Zainab said, her heart pounding. But Joseph was already engrossed in the screen, too captivated by the content to notice her discomfort. Suddenly, the videos began to play, and there they were, mesmerized by the smooth movement of adults and the oddly sounds that they have never heard before. Their innocent fun had taken a dark turn, and Joseph realized that his parents' gift, which had once seemed like a path to knowledge, had introduced them to a world they were not ready for. He felt guilty and unsure of how to face his parents after what they had stumbled upon. Back to the moment of mimicking what they have been watching, Mrs. Mensah called out, "Joseph? Zainab?" The sound of Mrs. Mensah's voice made Zainab freeze. Joseph's face turned pale, and he quickly dropped the phone onto the bed. They exchanged a terrified glance. They were caught. "What are you two doing?" Mrs. Mensah asked, stepping into the room. Her eyes fell on the phone, then back to them. Zainab opened her mouth, but couldn't find the words. She and Joseph had no excuse. They'd been caught. Both their parents sat them down for a serious talk. It wasn't just about the video or what they had tried to copy. It was about everything. "We're not angry," Mr. Mensah said calmly, "but we are concerned. Do you even understand what you were about to do?" Zainab and Joseph sat in silence, too embarrassed to answer. Their parents explained how their bodies and minds were changing. They told them about the things they were seeing online and how it could affect them. They talked about the importance of being careful about what they allowed into their lives. "It's not your fault," Zainab's mum said softly. "The internet is full of things meant for older people. That's why we're here to guide you." The next day, the parents took action. They locked down all the devices in the house. Parental controls were set up, and all the apps they weren't supposed to use were restricted. They didn't stop there. They also talked to Zainab and Joseph about how to tell when something online wasn't right, and they encouraged them to always come to them if they were unsure. At first, it felt like punishment. No more phones, no more apps. But as the days passed, Zainab and Joseph realized their parents weren't trying to control them. They were trying to protect them. With the devices locked down, Zainab and Joseph began to enjoy the things they used to. They played outside with the other kids, read books, and spent time talking. The pull of the app slowly faded. It wasn't important anymore. One afternoon, as they sat on the porch, Joseph turned to Zainab with a quiet question. "Do you think we would have kept going if they hadn't stopped us?" Zainab thought about it. "Maybe, but I don't think it would have ended well." Joseph nodded. For the first time in weeks, they both smiled without feeling guilty. Looking back, Zainab understood that her parents had been right. Curiosity is important, but it needs guidance. It's not just about locking apps. It's about being there to talk, to help understand the world they were growing into, and to know it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes, one strange app can lead to trouble. It only takes someone to step in and help before things get worse.